to another episode of Cooking with Brad, brought to you by Boston College Dining Services. Today we're going to brine our own corned beef briskets. It's almost St. Patrick's Day, which means it's corned beef season. And instead of buying corned beef at the store, you can make it at home. If you've ever been to Ireland, you know that it's a pretty great place. It's castle after castle, cathedral after cathedral, and they're all amazing. Of course, St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin is pretty grand. And if you're lucky to get in there, you can see these great stained glass windows. St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland, and the myth has it that he drove out the snakes from Ireland. So celebrate this coming St. Patrick's Day with your own homemade corned beef brisket. This is the list of ingredients you'll need. You'll need 300 grams of kosher salt, 35 grams of curing salt, half a cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of pickling spices. And these are the spices that I like to use in my pickling spice blend. And 5 pounds of brisket. This is curing salt number 1, which is the salt we're using in this recipe. The pink salt that you saw earlier is not Himalayan pink salt. This salt has sodium nitrite in it, which is why it's dyed pink, to help prevent people from thinking it's just regular table salt. So to start, we want to make our pickling spice. And with our pickling spice, once we have it all measured out, put it into a pan and we want to get it toasted. So we're just going to move it to prevent it from burning while we have a nice low flame on. Once it's all toasted, we're going to put it into a blender, and we're going to take that blender and we're going to break it up. If you have a mortar and pestle, that would work as well. I just didn't have one around. Next, we'll need a gallon of water to make our brine. And what I like to do is start with a half a gallon of hot tap water, and then I like to add my brown sugar, my curing salt, and my kosher salt into that water. That will help it dissolve. And then I add another half gallon of cold water to balance out the temperature. I want to be able to add my meat right to the brine because this will take 5 to 7 days to brine. And I really don't want to waste more time letting this brine cool down. Some people will say that you need to boil your brine, but I have not found a difference between doing this or boiling it. Once the brine is ready, we're going to add our pickling spices to it and our brisket. So this brisket will be fully submerged in the liquid. If it's not, just make sure you rotate your brisket every day. After the 5 to 7 days, you'll take it out and give it a rinse and hold it until you're ready to cook. You'll also want to make sure you have some of those pickling spices left over because you'll want to add those to your boil when you're making this corned beef. The longer the meat's in the brine, the more flavor that it gets from the brine. That's why I say 5 to 7 days. In 5 days, it's ready to go, but in 7, it's going to be even better.